Warning, this video contains spoilers for Star Wars The Force Awakens. So if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and click stop and go see it. Besides, why haven't you seen it yet? I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. I mean, really. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the very first episode of the Week After Movie Reviews. I am your host, Don DeGroot, and as in the title and in the preview here, we stated I will be talking about Star Wars The Force Awakens. Oh my goodness, we Star Wars nerds have been waiting for this moment for so long. An actual, credible Star Wars movie. In some regards, I don't even want to think about the three that they made a few years back. If nothing else, all they do is just give you a little background on some characters. But ultimately, they were just atrocious. There's bad acting, loose story, kind of, I don't know. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the brand new Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and there was a lot of hype leading up to this. And by the way, sorry, my voice isn't crisp and clean as it usually is. Going through a little bit of a nasal problem. But anyways, the hype for this film was mega huge. And it had a lot to live up to leading into the premiere. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm very happy to say that it did live up to the hype. It had so much of what we were hoping for. The return of Han Solo and Chewie as a pair, lovable goofs, and they're the leading reason why I think that this movie was a success, because not only do they give credibility to the movie as part of the lineage, bringing in the new characters and sort of giving them baptism by fire, if you will, blaster fire. Anyways, but they also provided the punch that the storyline needed. Gave it a nice back and forth. It's a relationship that we've seen before. Let me get my bottle of water. I might need it. Making a mess. Anyways, so it gives us the characters that we've seen before, so that we know, yes, this is Star Wars. This is the same line that we've grown to love over the years. And like I said, it was funny. I loved their back and forth between Chewie and Han. And again, if you haven't gone this far yet, spoilers. Get out of here if you haven't seen the movie yet. But I love how Han constantly wanted to use Chewie's crossbow. It was funny. He's like, wow, that's got some kick. And I thought that was a cute thing between them. Had great action. I mean, the best, starfighting, dogfighting I've seen in a movie in some years. Back to like, shoot. I can't remember the name of the movie. It was about the Buffalo, I think the Buffalo Rider, or, Anyways, Flyboys and stuff like that. Great dogfights. Poe Dameron's character. Yeah, I'll touch on that later. But, he's an awesome pilot, and that was pretty awesome seeing, where he's just kind of buzzing around the sky and they follow him and he's taking out TIE fighters left and right. I thought that was a really great scene. And the storyline was very strong. You didn't get stuck in like stupid Senate hearings and stuff like that the last three they made stuck you with it. So it was very fluid. Everything just kind of boom, 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 boom. And so you never really had time to just be like, oh God, yeah, all right, move on. Which is great. That's what's great about this series. The characters are very likable. I liked Rey, although she kind of makes me like, well, why didn't you get to like where you're like, boy, she got made things a little more difficult than they needed to be. And then Finn, I mean, interesting concept. You learn a little bit about stormtroopers in their modern age, where they're no longer clones, which, I mean, we all figured that probably. If you're into Star Wars, you already knew that. But they're taken from birth, and then they're trained to be soldiers. They don't even have a name. They just have a number, and he's like FN, yada yada yada. And so, Poe gives him the name Finn, so that's pretty cool. So I like the characters, I like the people, and that's what's great about this movie. I mean, it lives up to the Star Wars hype. As far as the storyline is concerned, I wouldn't say it's weak, but I would say it's a little loose. The whole concept, like the whole movie, is based around trying to find Luke. And while I understand the need for Luke because he's a great leader for the rebellion / resistance, and he would be an asset, especially now considering that Rey is obviously blessed with the power of the Force, which a lot of speculation that maybe she's the love child of Luke Skywalker and some lady. Don't know. I don't know. I don't read much into stuff, so I only know as much as the movies. I mean, I did dabble into a comic book that I saw that they put out prior to the release of the movie, which gives you kind of, at the beginning, you get kind of a background on the parents of Poe Dameron. His mom was an A-Wing pilot during the attack on the final Death Star, and his father was on the ground on Endor, fighting alongside of Han Solo and part of his team. So you get kind of look at his lineage. But as far as like background, I don't really dabble too much into it. Plus a lot of the canon's been kind of thrown out the window apparently. I think the Clone Wars is still applicable, which that's a topic for another day. But the whole concept of finding Luke, and we got to get this map to find Luke. I mean, I feel like there could have been a better. I think there could have been a better plot, but this one's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, obviously, it's like we got to know what happened to Luke. What happened to Luke? So we need to find him. So good plot. Thought it could have been a little bit better, but nothing to say that I didn't love the movie. I loved the movie. Thank you, J.J. Abrams. But with any movie, there are downsides. So the downsides that I saw in this movie was I wish J.J. Abrams would have got away from his normal style. If you watch the Star Trek movies, Star Trek, like for instance, Star Trek Into Darkness, it feels like J.J. Abrams, when he makes movies that are based on other movies, he doesn't do so much original content. No, because of what the new Star Trek movies is, it's a retelling of the same storyline, but just been changed because somebody went back in time and changed the whole timeline. So everybody's gotten to where they are differently than they had in the original Star Trek and Star Trek movies. But he has a tendency, Abrams, to basically take the same story and then retell it differently. And I fear that's what he did a little bit with Star Wars, and it's a bit of a cop-out. It kind of starts the same way. You have your character who's in the desert, who doesn't know their identity, doesn't know who they are. They discover that they have Jedi powers. They meet some friend who at first they not sure about, and then they become close. And then some wizened leader comes in, takes him under his wing, gives him hope, all this stuff, and then does the sacrificial thing. And that is something that I will talk about as my third bullet point for this video about Han Solo. Spoilers, but you knew that already. But it seems like it repeats itself from the original movie. From when Luke was in the desert, didn't know who he was, wanted something different, look into the stars for answers, and then this wizened character comes in, reveals his future, or who he is, what he is, and sacrifices himself to be a martyr for that person to spur them into what they become. And so I feel like he kind of copped out. It's a little bit of the same stuff. You just kind of come back around with the same storyline, but with different characters in a different setting in a different way. Even though it starts in the desert, and then we find ourselves on the snow. It's like he combined the first two movies of Empire and A New Hope and kind of redid them. So his style of doing that with his storylines, it was a little off-putting once I figured it out. Like, when I went in there with euphoria, Star Wars, oh my god, Star Wars, it was awesome. And then when I sat down and I really kind of put it together, I went, oh geez, he just kind of retold the same story, but, the original story was pretty cool, so, all right, I'll give it to you. Because I did the same thing with Star Trek Into Darkness. It's like the whole con thing and sacrifice, oneself for the other, for the good of all thing, repeated and all that stuff. And I was like, geez, yeah. But still good story. Still good movie. Very entertaining. So I'll give him that. Of course, we have this character, the bad guy, Kylo Ren. He looks so cool. He look like all of his toys, all of his figures. He's got the lightsaber with the two things coming off of it. And he was such an interesting looking character. And yet, I feel like they fell a little short with him because he came off as kind of, forgive me for saying it, like a whiny bitch. Like, he's basically a character who's just trying to live. He's living in the shadow of someone who he's never even met. He's just living his stories. Like he idolizes Darth Vader, his grandfather, because, as we figure out really early on, they didn't even, it was just like, boom, there it is. Kylo Ren's the son of Leia and Han, and you're just like, oh okay, we're just going to roll through that, okay. But, he came across as just like a mopey, whiny baby kid, like he was like a 20-something trying to figure out where he is in the world. And like he throws this big hissy fit because they didn't capture something, and I think it was the BB-8 got away, and he just loses it and just takes out some command panel, probably important. Probably just took out the drive core. Nice job there, Kylo. And throws a fit. So he doesn't do Darth Vader stuff, like he doesn't do the like you would expect. Like in that moment, I expected him to kill that man, which I think maybe they knew we would think that, so they kind of throw us a little curveball there. It's like, oh no, he's not going to kill him. He's going to lightsaber the crap out of this console. But even when he took his helmet off, his correspondence with Poe, his correspondence with Rey in the interrogation chair, he just came across as whiny and like a big baby. And I was like, boy, this guy looks intense. That long black hair, and he's got the long face and the dramatic looking eyes and everything. And he had the stuff to be a fairly solid bad guy, but he ends up coming across as like this person who just doesn't know what they're doing and or what they want to do with themselves. And I don't know, I think he was a little disappointing. And some might agree, some might not agree. Feel free in the description to discuss. That's what it's there for. So I kind of felt like Kylo Ren fell a little flat on his face as a character for this story. So, but other than that, I mean, the lightsaber duels and everything else. I did like his dialogue. I think the way he presented it was kind of I don't know, off-putting, and I would think that's the way his character should probably come across to people, because he shouldn't be like, oh, I like that guy, or oh man, I hate that guy. He's just like, oh boy, I don't know what to think, because that's what the dark side does. It perverse make I can't do words well. It's supposed to be enticing to some degree, make you curious. So that's what that's about. It just did a John Madden thing. That's what that's about. So that's the only things I really found bad about the movie. Or not so much bad, just kind of disappointing. Like, I wish they had done something a little bit different here, a little bit different there. And, of course, you're tricky, J.J. Abrams. Like, you did a very good job of misleading everyone with your advertising and your trailers. Because I bet everybody went into that movie going, Finn's going to be a Jedi, Rey's going to be a love interest, probably to Poe Dameron. Although, right now, I don't know if she's a love interest to anybody. Like, this would actually be kind of bad, but it's more like weird. Like, every person in the storyline was really chummy really fast. Like, Poe Dameron and Finn escape from the Star Destroyer. And they leave. He's his pilot. You know, you're going to be my pilot. I'll shoot him. We got so far. I survived. Like, they only had, like, you know, even in the running around, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes together total. And all of a sudden, like, Finn sees him. He survived. He fought in a battle on, I forget, I don't know the name of the planet. I didn't pay that much attention. But they run at each other like, oh my god, it's you, you're alive, hugs. And I'm just like, these people have known each other like 10 minutes, they're already hugging each other like they've been best friends of their whole lives. It's weird. It's a little off-putting. It's like, boy, they're really chummy. And like Finn and Rey all of a sudden have this connection that doesn't make any sense. And I think like Finn actually digs her, but I think Rey's kind of her aloof, you know, keeping to herself kind of person. So she's not showing any of that, but she obviously cares. It's like they're all really good friends all of a sudden. And then, of course, I thought it was a little odd that here comes Finn, and they go to the Resistance, and there's Leia, and Leia's just like, oh, welcome, you know, I'm glad you're here, with no suspicion whatsoever. You know, in that situation, I'd be like, you were in the First Order? Forgive me if I'm suspicious, but it's weird that you would just jump sides like that, and then all of a sudden, yeah, okay, you want to be a part of this. I don't know. I don't know if I should trust you, because you could just be a spy who's, you know, a double agent. So, I thought that was a little strange, but not bad. I mean, it's you want your characters to like each other, obviously, so it works. So, I alluded to this earlier, and one of my final points here, Han Solo's death. Now, they really made it kind of obvious that that's where things were going. The dialogue between the dude in the big chair, I've already forgotten his name, played by Andy Serkis, and Kylo Ren, excuse me, you already felt like, yeah, it's like you need to deal with the fact that your emotions are tied to your family, your father. You know, you saw him, or whatever. And then, you knew it was going to happen, especially, like, when Kylo walks out onto that walkway, and Han sees him, and you're just like, oh, don't do it. No, Han, just shut up, plant your bombs, and go. You know, if he dies, he dies. Dolph Lundgren, if he dies, he dies. But, just let it go, you know. Friggin' Elsa that crap, let it go. Anyways, so when he hollered at him, I was like, oh god, here it comes. It's happening. It's gonna happen. And it was a really emotional moment, and I mean, a part of you wanted to go, oh come on, pull it off, please don't. But then, of course, as soon as he wouldn't let go of the lightsaber, I said, oh god, here it comes, and then sure enough, it happened. Now, the question is this a good thing or a bad thing for the series? It's hard to say right now. I mean, you still have Leia, you still have Chewie to kind of give the series credibility as far as Star Wars is concerned, but it felt like, boy, you know, you bring in Han Solo, like one of the most popular characters in movie cinema history, because he's like that perfect bad boy with the slight good edge who comes in and saves the day, and people like him, and here he comes, and they're funny, and they have great chemistry again, and he has good chemistry with the guy who played Finn, and you know, and Rey, and he's a mentor, and he's all these things, and then you know, you do him in, and I felt like it was like, oh man, I really wish they hadn't done that. I mean, I'd be eager to see how it plays out in the next two movies. I mean, at that point, you got to say, okay, well, I want to see Kylo dead for beginners. You know, maybe that's why they did it, is so that you would hate Kylo Ren enough to where, even though he's kind of conflicted, or whether he wants to be good or evil, that in the end, when he gets what he gets, you're like, well, he definitely deserved that. He killed Han Solo. You know, there's no turning back now, right? I mean, once you kill your own father, dark side, baby, you're not coming back. I would think, you know. Because that's what he said. He's like, will you help me? You know, help me do this thing, and he kills his father. So it's, I guess we'll just have to see. Like, for the story, it's a peak, it's an arc that you could go with as far as the narrative, and it led to a more impassioned and battle scene. So it worked for the situation, but in the same vein, you just like, oh man, you don't want to see Han dead. Chewie doesn't talk. He goes, and it's like, yeah, what he said. So it's like, you lose that character, and presumably Luke's going to replace him as the mentor, obviously. Which will bring me now to my final point, which is the ending of the movie. When R2 comes out of his coma, and decides, oh, now I'm going to be relevant to the story now that everything's resolved itself, or at least to this point. The bad guys being defeated, the planet killer, or Star Killer, what was it called? I think it was called the Star Killer. I'll figure it out later. Is defeated, yada yada yada. So happy day. So he brings out the map, and BB-8 comes in. BB-8, by the way, I had my doubts, but he is one cute little booger, and he was funny. I would have thought a little bleepy bleep robot would be funny, but he was funny. And 3PO, shut up. Nobody cares about 3PO, I think, anymore. Why do I have this read on? Well, funny story, but I won't tell it. Like, why? You have a plot device that you don't reveal. Anyways, so, they get the map, they find him. In my mind, I almost think they should have stopped it there. But they went ahead and they took it forward, and they let it end with Luke standing up on a mountain for some reason. Because that's what all people in isolation do. They just go up to the highest peak, and they stand there, waiting for someone dramatically to show up. But nonetheless, she stands there holding out the lightsaber, like, ooh! And I will talk about that before we go. But I felt like the ending was kind of like, oh, it's over. When I felt like maybe it would have worked better if they had stopped it, like, we have the map and now we will find Luke. And then, like, at the start of the second movie, they would be, like, finding Luke or whatever. But I realized that, Star Wars fans would probably revolt. There would be riots at the theaters if they didn't at least get to look at Mark Hamill's beautiful bearded face. So, I wanted to touch on that real quick before we go. Before I go. Apparently there's somebody here with me. Before I go, and that was Luke Skywalker's, and, well, incidentally, Anakin and Luke's lightsaber. I liked the concept that the lightsaber almost has a memory, and what she hears that draws her attention is the sound of children, if I'm not mistaken. Now, forgive me if I've remembered. I've only seen it once so far. I'm probably going to go back after Christmas. By the way, Merry Christmas. This will be out on Thursday, Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas Eve. But it was interesting that it was calling to her, which also adds to the theory that she may be the love child of Luke. But that the sound of children, because as any good Star Wars person would know, Anakin went crazy and killed a lot of people during Order 66, including Padawans, children who were training to be Jedis. So, in a way, that lightsaber would have a lot of negative memories to it, and something they didn't really obviously know about or think about when they made the original 3 movies, because they were made first and then the other one second. Oh, excuse me again. But I like that concept that she didn't want to touch it because of the horrible things that thing had done, the atrocities that had occurred. Now, you kind of wish that they could have done that with the originals, but they didn't know. And then that would have revealed plotline, that Anakin, a.k.a. Darth Vader, was Luke's father. So I thought that was amazing and interesting, and I think that definitely added the fuel to the fire that she is his son, possibly, because why would she have that deep a connection with it if it wasn't a family heirloom? So I'm really excited about the movies to come. I think this is going to be a fantastic series. I just want to thank J.J. Abrams for making Star Wars relevant again after the last debacle. I'm sure a lot of people feared that it was never going to be the same again, and I really excited about the future for Star Wars. As a Star Wars nerd that I am, huge Boba Fett fan, I'd love to see some Mandalorians, and there was an Easter egg in there. Well, I don't know if you call it an Easter egg, but on on that little temple which had the bar in it, whatever, you did see a Mandalorian flag, which was pretty cool. But it would be nice to see, I don't know, a descendant of Boba Fett or something. Maybe he could be doing good things this time around, and then have the suit, because I think people would go crazy if the suit did good things. So, anyways, that is my take on Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I thought it was a great movie. I definitely give it a thumbs up in the world of movie reviews. I usually give stars. I'd probably give this one 4.5. The half star, of course, for those little boo-boos along the way that I thought could have been done differently. Great movie. Definitely want to go see it again. Definitely going to buy it on DVD. Blu-ray probably, because I want to get the full experience. But overall, great movie. Looking forward to the future. Yada yada yada. And that's about it. So thank you for joining me. This has been the Week After Movie Review. I am Don DeGroot, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. It's supposed to make a whoosh sound. Close enough. Bye!